Record. Awesome. So we are going to be diving into creating a 90-day nurture plan. And I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the workbook. But this is going to be really interactive. So I'm going to share with you kind of how I've created my nurture plan. I want to give you some ideas, and then I want you to be able to create your own nurture plan that you can then take back to your communities. So that's really what, just to let you know, kind of what the focus is here, is to help you understand what a nurture plan is. Why do we do it? And then also be able to, for you guys to take away something that feels doable for you. So remember, your nurture plan doesn't need to look like mine. Okay. So if you're looking like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going to do something every week, it's okay. It's okay. And so, the reason why I want us here all together in Zoom is so that I can answer your questions live too. So as we're kind of planning things out and going through it, I can guide you along the way. Where is my workbook? Here it is. Okay. So can everybody see the workbook? Yeah. Okay, cool. Alrighty, let me just move some things around real quick. Okay. Actually, I don't want it that big. Oh, now it's gone. There it is. Okay. So what we do with a nurture plan. So let's talk a little bit about a nurture plan and why we even need a nurture plan. In order to create know, like, trust with people, and in order to build and grow a community and really have relationships, cultivating relationships, we want to have some sort of plan so that we are actually showing up consistently. Because when we don't show up consistently, what that does is it actually breaks trust with our community and also with ourselves. So when we have a plan, and again, it doesn't need to look like mine, we're going to absolutely kind of talk about what a weekly nurture recipe is and how you can do your plan. But what that does is it allows you to have a focus for what you can show up consistently with, so that your people get to see you, they get to have an experience of you, they get to learn what you're about, they get to see your vibe, they get to kind of see whether or not they're resonating with what you're teaching, and it allows you to continue to give value. So remember, building and developing relationships and growing a highly engaged community is about giving value. So it's about giving, 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 and then making an ask, right? So we don't necessarily need to like create posts and, all the time saying, hey, buy my stuff. We want to really give a lot of value based on what is relevant and congruent for what your ideal client is looking for. And so a nurture recipe is just that. And so I'm gonna show you a little bit, it's basically, you can take it by week. And that is the best way, is to kind of take a look at what would a weekly nurture recipe look like that would be something that you can commit to and implement consistently. So what does that look like for me? This is actually mine. I do one Facebook Live in my group a week. I send an email to my list. Granted, I know you guys are getting way more than one right now during this nurture event. And then I spend about 30 minutes, sometimes more, about 5 days a week, personally outreaching. And what that means is just commenting, right? Just letting people know that I see them, I hear them, I get them, and creating a comment so that there's a relationship going on there. And then creating relevant and congruent content posts daily. And then again, just commenting and responding to posts. So that's my weekly nurture recipe. And that is something that I love to do because it allows me to be inside of my Facebook group. And here's the thing with Facebook. I know people have got different feelings about Facebook. I honestly don't spend a lot of time scrolling on Facebook. I go into my group and I engage with my people there, and I will look for where I might be tagged with clients that I'm, working with in any of my programs. And so I'll check those notifications first. And then I, pick some specific groups that I'm a part of and that I want to, be tapped into with the community. Like Amy and I are in the same Thought Leaders Academy community. And so I'm part of that group. So I don't spend a lot of time scrolling or following what anybody else is doing other than my coaches. So this is about kind of getting in, doing what you want to do, getting out, and not feeling like you've got to spend hours and hours and hours a day on Facebook, because you really don't. I think what ends up happening is that the people that end up spending hours and hours a day into Facebook can sometimes get caught in the scroll, instead of really having a plan on, okay, what should I do? When should I do it? Getting in and getting out, so that you can actually live your life instead of living it on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. The other thing that I want to share about the nurture recipe is that all of this happens inside of Facebook. So this is one platform. So I really want to bring this home. Pick one platform that you want to be on consistently. Start that, get that going like a really well-oiled machine. Then once you hit 6 figures, then you can begin to expand into another platform. And it is easy to kind of have some overlap with Instagram just because of Facebook. Hold on. That is actually one of my mastermind sisters. She's probably calling me because I'm not streaming us into the Facebook group. She's like, I don't see you. Where are you? Are you going to show up? So let me continue because, all right, sorry about that. Where was I? That totally rattled me for a minute. I'm like, I wasn't expecting the phone call. One platform. Okay, yes, the power of one. So it's easy to kind of overlap with Instagram because Instagram connects with your Facebook business page. It doesn't connect with your Facebook group, but it will connect with a business page if you have a Facebook business page. So, that would be something that if you want to, repurpose a post or something that you're sharing, that you could then, do that and actually schedule it out inside of a business page that would also go to your Instagram page. So really you're just going one place, it's just landing in two. I don't spend a whole bunch of time on Instagram. That's just not where I spend a lot of my time. I spend a lot of my time in my Facebook community. So you can absolutely focus on one platform and still create consistent income without having to be on LinkedIn and Pinterest and Instagram and all of the other places. So I want you to think about a weekly nurture recipe. And typically, once you have your Facebook group up, it's a good idea to think about how can you go live consistently, whether that's one time a week or one time every other week, because again, you want to give people an experience. And that is video is one of the best ways to build know, like, trust. And I know that it can be scary at first to kind of go on video, but I promise once you do it over and over again, it's not as scary anymore. And again, what that does is it allows you to show up consistently, share something of value, and then people are going to comment on your videos, and Facebook loves videos. And so Facebook will start promoting the video to more people that are inside your Facebook group, and that actually creates more engagement. So my suggestion is to create a weekly Facebook Live that you can show up for consistently. And again, for me, mine happens on Mondays at 4 o'clock. This week is different just because we've got the nurture event. And so I went live, every night at 6 o'clock. But typically I choose Monday, 6 o'clock. And I actually add that inside of my welcome email. So when people join my Facebook group, they get a welcome email welcoming them into the group with a little bit of information about how to get the best out of being in the group. And in there, it's got that I go live on Mondays for the She's Got Moxie Soulful Business Training. And so that is something that I go live in consistently. Now, not inconsistently, consistently. The other thing that is really cool is that you can actually keep it really, really simple. So think about picking a theme for the week. Not like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to write? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like pick one theme. So for example, if my one theme was talking about mindset, then I would do my Facebook Live in the group on mindset. And then everything else that week that I post inside my Facebook group would be about mindset. So it's just a consistent theme across the board. And you don't have to post every single day if you don't want to. If you are not posting every single day in your group, that's okay. My suggestion is that you create like 3 posts, maybe a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that, just so that you've got something so that you're actually showing up. And I just can't stress how important consistency is. And I like to use the example of think that you're gonna, imagine you're going out to dinner and you find this amazing Italian restaurant and it's so yummy. And then you want to go back and the next day it's a Mexican restaurant. And you're like, what's going on? And then the next day you go back and it's closed and you're not sure when they're open. That's kind of like what happens when we show up inconsistently. And so our people your community doesn't really know what to expect. And so we want to really build and cultivate community by showing up consistently. So the first place we need to start is with your weekly nurture recipe. How would you like to show up in your Facebook group? And again, I suggest 1 live a week And then if you have an email list, amazing. If you don't worry about it. And then, about 3 posts a week. And again, the posts are going to be about something that is valuable and relevant to your ideal client. I'm going to stop sharing this just for a minute so I can see everybody. Welcome, Heidi and Marnie and Mary. Are there any questions so far about a nurture recipe? Valerie, yes, please go ahead and come off mute.
So Chris, if we do the live, which I like, I've been doing them, Wednesday Wellness,
Yeah.
3 additional posts.
Mhm.
So that would be a total of 4 times during the week.
Yep.
Okay.
And with your posts, you can also schedule your posts, right? That's one great thing about Facebook, is that you can actually create your 3 posts. Like, say you just sit down and time block sometime, either at some point during the week where you decide that you're going to work on content. You can time block it, or like me, I honestly just kind of post something that is on my mind and on my heart according to what it is that I'm sharing. So it doesn't have to be so strict and so structured unless that really works for you. For me, I am a rebel at heart. And while I like structure, if I put too much boundaries on me, I'm just going to be like, not doing it, just to not do it. I can be walking towards the dishwasher to unload it. My husband will be like, can you unload the dishwasher? And I'm like, yeah, no, not doing it. Not really, but that's kind of like, so you have to decide what works for you. You really need to decide, okay, what is going to work for me? Does it work for me to do, content, maybe just take 30 minutes in the morning and create a post? Or does it work to schedule a block of time out of your day, whether it's, on a Monday or a Friday or a Saturday or Sunday or whatever, and you can totally block that out. Both ways work. The most important thing is just that you've got it consistently. The other cool thing about this is that there's a reason why this is only 90 days. You can repurpose your content. You can repurpose all of your content. Nobody really knows what you've posted after 60 days. And even if they do, they're not going to be like, oh, you posted that like 3 months ago. It's going to be a repetition. It's going to be, and again, repetition builds belief. So you're going to be sharing things that are the same over and over and over and over again, right? So we don't have to get so darn creative where we're like trying to create new things and pull things out of the ethers all the time. We get to really focus on, maybe 4 or 5 different categories or topics that we know we can share with our ideal client. So think about these content pieces as like an umbrella. Yeah, Amy. Yeah.
Does it have to be live? Because I tend to, when I'm really in that zone, I like to record talks.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just less impersonable to have a recording? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I would say that would be fine to start with.
Okay.
But eventually I would work up to going live, just because when you're live, the other thing that you're able to do is to see who's there. And whenever you're saying, hey, I'm so glad you're here, Valerie, or I'm so glad you're here, Amy, it's creating that connection and it's creating that relationship. Versus when we're just posting a recording, it just takes a little bit away from that personalization. And then you're having to come back later and try to respond to people versus, everybody likes to be seen and heard. We all do. Right? We all want to be seen and heard. When, I actually love it when my coach is like, hey, Chris, how are you? And I'm like, hey, I'm here. Right? So that is just, a part that I highly recommend if you can. Now, if you're terrified and you absolutely don't want to, do that, then, you can still post these extra videos. But I would say for your once a week live show, I would say do that live if you can. Yeah, great question. Who else has a question around a nursery? Yeah, Leslie.
So just starting off with your lives, when you did your She's Got Moxie and stuff, I mean, how I have to assume that maybe in the beginning they were 5 to 10 minutes and now they go a little bit longer. Is that,
Yeah.
I mean, I tend to get hung up on really small details like, oh my gosh, there's not enough FaceTime or, so I constantly overthink everything. And so it's like, well, am I going to sound relevant or even be slightly effective if I'm only chit chatting for like 5 to,
Yes.
less than 10 minutes. So just kind of in the beginning, just, it's like little small hinges, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. Start where you're comfortable with. And if, and again, once you get more comfortable, it's just going to be more natural to just kind of continue to talk because, stuff is going to come in and your ideal client so well that you're going to be able to share and you're going to share the same stuff over and over and over again, right? That's the beauty of having a system and a repeatable system and knowing your ideal client is that you get to put these pieces on repeat. So you're not reinventing the wheel all the time. So yeah, Tara, you had a question. You've got your hand raised.
It's not so much a question as kind of relaying to a couple of the people. Can you hear me?
I can, yep.
Just kind of relaying to other people. I was terrified of going live, and I did a couple, like just playing around, like I was walking in the park. So I would just talk to myself about what I was doing, and it was like 30 seconds and post it. And then I actually had a call with Nicole, and she was like, just do it. And I was like, well, I blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, you're on a smartphone. We're on a Zoom call. You know what you're doing. Who's your ideal client? And like, if you could do anything, what would it be? And for me, I love cooking, and I've shared with friends like how to cook, right? Just the bare minimum. And at one point in my life, I was a kindergarten teacher. So everything else is about just keep it simple, because we've been doing this such a long time, we forget the early days when we first got started, when we were sick and we didn't know anything and we just wanted somebody to give us something simple. And so I just started going live in my kitchen, and the first one was probably 8 minutes. It was like just chopping garlic, right? Because that was something I did with a girlfriend who she microwaved everything, like raw chicken, and I was appalled. And
Gave her a cooking lesson. I love it.
So we've been working together, just me and my girlfriend, for years, and I'd be like, okay, so veggies suck. Let me show you how another way to like cook broccoli. And so that was my next lesson.
Mhm.
Just roasting broccoli. And that was maybe 11 minutes. And then my third one, people showed up and stayed. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. So the first two, 1 or 2 people came and went.
Yeah.
But as Nicole shared with me, it's like, just keep showing up.
Mm.
And sometimes it can be hard to talk to nobody but yourself on the camera, but imagining, my girlfriend on the other side of the camera, like, what does she want to know? Who's like clueless in the kitchen. So
Yeah, that's so good, Tara. I recommend that you think of like one of your favorite clients, or one of your friends, and just, and really just talk to one person. That it just makes it so much easier. And, I just kind of jumped in the deep end when I first started doing video. I went live for 100 days and to get myself used to it. And honestly, by probably the end of the second week, I didn't even care. I was like, I'm going to show you how to make a smoothie. Let's do the smoothie. And then I'm like, I just finished a workout. I have no makeup on in my hair. Like, I just made a commitment to go live. And, the thing that we forget is that we really do have a lot in our day that we could talk about, right? Like every single day, stuff happens with us that we can pull in that is relevant to our purpose, our passion, and how we could actually help somebody. So it's not really that hard to come up with content. We really could just at the bare minimum, just go, hey, like, this is my favorite sparkling water. What sparkling water do you drink? Water's really good for you. Water is going to help you stay, whatever, so it can be as easy as that. It doesn't have to be a big event like I'm teaching you guys here. Okay. And that actually your Facebook Lives for your show are small, but we do call them like little nurture events because you're giving value. And again, you're just letting people see you. And even if somebody doesn't comment, I promise you they're seeing it. I promise, promise, promise. Even if it feels like you're talking to the wind, people see it. People will come back, they'll watch the replay. They might not comment, but they'll see it. And, I'll show you, there's a place inside of Facebook where you can see what the real engagement is of your group. I'll have to find it, but I'll post it for you. You can go into your Facebook group and see, what is the real engagement. And basically you take the total number of your Facebook group, they'll give you the total number that's in there. And then over the past 28 days or 60 days, they'll say how many are active. You divide those numbers and you'll be really surprised. Where we want to be is about 80% or over, and it's not that hard to get there. So you'll really be surprised, once you get your Facebook group going, and that is something that you can kind of see where you are. The other thing is that it doesn't have to be a really long educational post, right? It could be as simple as an engagement post, like, hey, like I did the tree, and that was on my personal page, hey, when do you put up your Christmas tree? Right? Like just simple things to elicit conversation, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to give people a place where we can also create conversation. Another one that I love to do is to find out where people are. So I have a great picture of a map, and it's like, hey, let's find out where everybody is. Like, tell me where you are. And the thing with groups is that the more people comment on a post, the more Facebook will push it out to more of the people that are in your group. Okay, so while we don't need to worry about the numbers or the likes, when we do have a post that starts getting engagement, the more people comment on it, the more it will show, Facebook will show it to more people that are actually inside of the group. Awesome. Leslie, you have a question.
Yeah. So, I've been following you for a while, and I do see all of your posts. So you post them out of the group page or your personal page? You do both?
Yeah, so the nurture recipe right here is just about your group. So this is just the nurture recipe is just what you would do inside your group. Now, I do a combination of posting on my personal page, and I also will copy things and share it into my business page. I'll also take a post that I share inside my Facebook group and copy that and turn that into an email. So, I try to email my list once a week. You don't need to like create 5 different things. Repurpose what you have. You can actually create one post and you can create it into 20 different posts. You could do a Facebook Live and share like, my 5 tips for getting better sleep, and then sharing step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Well, guess what? You also have now, 5 different emails that you could send out, or 5 different Facebook posts. All you're doing is you're copying and sharing that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can repurpose your content without having to feel like you've got to create a whole bunch. The other thing that I recommend when we're having content, and by the way, for those of you that are joining me inside of Activate Abundance, you have a 90-day done for you content plan in there waiting for you. So you'll be able to use that and to create content really quickly. But you can create a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like a content garden, and it's a spreadsheet. And so you can just create a spreadsheet either in Google Docs or wherever it is that you're comfortable. And you can just take the information, take the URL of your Facebook post or your Instagram post and put it there. And you can then repurpose or reuse all of it. So you're just copying the URL. You're not copying all the information unless you want to. And so then you've got 90 days or more of content that has already been used that you can then repurpose again after the 90 days or 60 days or whatever you like. Or if there's a post that gets a lot of traction, you're like, wow, like people are really liking that one. You can star that one and, make a note of it that you want to turn that into an email, or, you want to chunk that down. Yeah. So these are just some little tips that, you can begin to use to start implementing and start sharing and start creating conversation. Leslie, did you have another question? No. Okay. Cool. Anybody else have any questions about content? Okay. So once you know who your ideal client is, that's really where you're going to take a look and go, okay, like these are the things that I know my ideal client will serve them and what they might want to learn. So again, think about like 5 different categories. One of them, could be cooking properly in the kitchen, or 20-minute meals or less or something, or, you know, Amy, yours, you know, being in the tree every week, the tree house club, so good. Like you already have that. You could just go live once a week for, you know, and then people would comment. You can ask questions. You know, the other thing that we want to do inside of our group too is we want to ask questions and encourage people to actually comment below, or let, you know, tell me what you think, or, you know, is this something that you would do, you know, this or that type of thing. Would you rather have this or that? So there's, you know, specific engaging posts that you can share that are going to elicit more conversation. Now, the educational posts are, you know, that are like, say, you know, a little bit longer and they're giving more education about a specific topic. Just know that those are probably going to get less engagement than the easy ones to answer. Like, do you like dark chocolate or white chocolate? Do you like, you know, red wine or white wine? Are you a beach or a mountain person? Do you like this or that type of thing? Because those are things that people don't have to think about, and they can just answer, and it's easy and it's fun. So we do want to have some of those types of engagement posts. And then once you are getting consistent in your posting, eventually you can work up to doing like an engagement post in the morning. You don't need to start here, but engagement post in the morning that creates a lot of eyeballs on your stuff. And then you can, you know, leave a content post or something in the afternoon. Eventually, you don't need to start there. If you don't have a group right now and that seems too overwhelming, don't worry about it. Like, just do one live and then 3 posts during the week, and then just show up consistently. Show up consistently. Yeah. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yeah.
When I'm putting together the Facebook group,
Mhm.
do I invite, like, I don't know, certain people that follow my professional page, but then do I invite also my friends on my Facebook, my personal one? Do I just invite everybody and like figure out who shows up, or should I just focus on the people that like and follow my professional page?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Thank you for asking it. So your Facebook group is really for your ideal client only. It's not for, you know, anybody else. It's not for our, you know, now granted, you may have some coaching friends come in there, you know, especially, you know, when you're in, you know, tribes together, you know, Thought Leader Academy. I'm sure you've got a lot of, you know, us that might, you know, follow you that are not necessarily your ideal client. That's okay. You can totally, you know, decide. Typically, this is what we look for in our Facebook group. You want to have somebody who matches your ideal client, or somebody who is a good fit to collaborate with. Those are the 2 kind of things that I look for. I either want, you know, I invite people into my group that I know that I can serve, and that the information that I'm sharing is going to be valuable to them. Because if it's not that, if I have a whole bunch of people in there and it's not valuable to them, then they're not going to comment, and it's not going to create engagement, and nothing's going to happen in there. So if we get low engagement in a Facebook group, by the way, it's our job as the Facebook group leader to create the engagement. So whenever I hear anybody say, oh, but I'm getting such low engagement, the first thing I ask is your ideal client there? Like, is your ideal client there? Like, get clear on that. And then, are you asking people to comment? It's a simple thing, but we forget, right? How are we creating the engagement? Are we creating the engagement, or are we just waiting for people to just magically start posting all over the place? Yeah. Kate. There you are.
Chris, it's Lori.
Oh, Lori.
Can you hear me? It's Lori.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question. My ideal client are leaders and organizations, and I'm more active on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
I know you had mentioned in one of the other workshops that you can ask people on LinkedIn in your posts to join your Facebook group. Are there any other techniques that I could use for that to get those people to transfer over?
Yeah, I would say, you know, pick a nurture recipe with that too. Like, take your Facebook Live and you can post that on LinkedIn. Like just repurpose some of the information that you have in your Facebook group over onto LinkedIn. That's something that you can do. And then invite them like, hey, if you want more information, like come join me over here. Because, you know, LinkedIn absolutely works great for, you know, your ideal client. And we also, if they want more information specifically about what it is that you're teaching them, you're going to be able to create more of a relationship on Facebook because of the video aspect and the community aspect and the group aspect of it.
Right, because I
Mhm.
did look at LinkedIn today to see what other, if they added any new features, but it really is not, I mean, it's definitely not a Facebook, so. But I
Yeah.
don't know any of my ideal clients right now on Facebook. It's really just been more of a personal,
Yeah.
personal use.
Yeah, and that's okay. I would say that you can start your Facebook group and then you just, you know, for lack of a better word, you just guide them into your Facebook group. So whatever you're posting on LinkedIn, you can say, and if you want more, I'm going to be going live next week on Monday at 4 o'clock talking about this topic. And so then you can paste the link to your Facebook group and they can join you over there. People really do like video, so they're going to want to hear you and they're going to want to see you go live.
Okay,
Yeah. And, you know, I have a lot of friends that,
Mhm.
you know, they coach on using Instagram, like how to build amazing business, you know, on Instagram. And they post on Instagram, but they guide everybody back into their Facebook group. So that's where you're creating community.
all right, thanks.
Yeah. Kate, you had a question.
Yes. So what has been your sweet spot of consistency for just introducing yourself, your brand, and what you're there for? Just to not be overkill, but enough on repeat.
Yeah, so it would be the live show, so the live Facebook Live, and then, you know, 3 posts.
Well, I guess I mean, so you know where folks like you might do, hi, I'm Chris, and here's who I, you know, those like that post with your photo. Like, how do you have kind of a sweet spot as far as how frequently you give that specific post? It's just kind of the easy rundown of you and your company and brand.
Yeah, I typically don't do that.
Okay.
Just because since I'm showing up live anyways, people see me and they have an experience of me, so I don't really need to do that.
I like that. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yay! One thing we don't have to do. Kim.
Hi, yes, it looks like, or it sounds like there's a lot of folks that don't have groups yet, and are going to start them. So I have one, I've had one for a year, so I have a little bit of a tip for you guys to start. I'm assuming, Chris, that you encourage pending member questions.
Yes.
Okay, so when we invite people to join our group, there's a technique, and there's a technique to do that where you can get them to answer the questions and you can keep out the folks you don't necessarily want in your group. And there's a big button on your group that's going to say invite. Don't use that because that automatically gets them to be able to skip over those questions and where you can gather information from them. You just want to share the URL. So please use
Unless you
member
know them.
questions.
Yeah, if you know them and you want them to come into your group, you can use-
Absolutely. You can invite them direct. But
Yeah.
if you're trying to get email addresses or you're asking them questions to try to get pain points or other pieces of information from them, have them share the URL, come join me here, and then have them come through the member questions and then capture that. And I will also tell you that capture the information before you approve it, because as soon as you approve their membership, all that information goes away.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of like let them in. So just tip for lessons learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great tips for that. Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things that you can do is take a screenshot if you're on your phone or even on your computer. If you don't have time to write it down, just take a screenshot. You can save that information and come back. The questions are really valuable, and it's not just to keep people out, it's actually to learn more about your ideal client. So the questions that we have people answer, are, what is your challenge? What are you struggling with? Valerie, you've got, diabetes and stubborn weight loss. Like you say, what's your biggest challenge right now around managing your diabetes? What would you like it, to look like if it was, what would be your vision of having this under control? Because what you're getting then is you're getting their words specifically. So you're learning, think of it like market research. You're learning exactly what your ideal client is saying is her struggle and what is it that she would like to have instead. And then you don't have to necessarily ask for an email. By the way, I don't recommend that you make that mandatory. It just feels kind of icky to say, leave your email here. I always post that in a question of, would you like to have access to my XYZ handout, for the third question? If so, please leave your email below.
Or tips and tricks. If you'd like me to send you tips and tricks, blah, 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 that's a great way to ask also.
Yeah. So, but always ask. Like everybody likes to be asked. Let it be an invitation. Would you, go ahead and leave here if you would like this. And then that just makes it really, it keeps your energy clean. Keeps your energy clean. You just ask, and it's like, would you like a cookie? Great. You don't? No problem. No big deal. But those questions are important because it's going to allow you to see what it is she's saying, what is she struggling with, what does she want differently, so you can use their words. And if they don't answer the questions, that is also kind of a red flag, because sometimes it might be a bot, it might be somebody who's just trying to get into groups, it might be somebody who just wants to kind of poach people. So I never let anybody in unless they answer the questions or I know the person that they've invited. So, make sure, and all I do is I go to their profile and I leave them a message and I say, hey, Leslie, thanks so much for wanting to be a part of the Abundant and Empowered Feminine Leaders. There's still a few questions that need to be answered before we can approve your request. Simple, easy. If they don't within like the next 24 hours, I don't approve and I delete it and it's done. But again, think of it as your house. It's your house. You get to decide who comes in. And, if somebody doesn't match the profile of your ideal client, you don't have to let them in. And I've done that often, and I've let them know, you know what, this group probably isn't the best fit for you. Like, it's not really for, photographers. It's for entrepreneurs that are in the wellness industry. And I've said that, and they've been like, oh, great, thank you. Like, not a big deal. We just get to be honest. Yeah, but again, this is when we see Facebook, Facebook as your community, Facebook as stories, there's so many different components that you can use, but really where you want to, again, bring people so that they can land and get amazing value with you is inside a community. So who has questions about creating a nurture recipe? Weekly nurture recipe. So like, what would you show up for? What could you consistently, or what would you like to start with that you could be consistent for like the next 2 weeks? Who needs help with this piece?
I just need to start my group.
Awesome. My gosh, I should have asked that. Who needs to start their group? Raise your hand if you need to start your group. Okay. Everybody who raised their hand, by when will you start your group? We're going to create some accountability right here. By when will you start your group, Amy?
Okay, so next week, because I'm going to the Redwoods in Northern California. I know, for Thanksgiving, and I'm gonna go see General Sherman. So I thought that would be a good way to open it.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, totally. Heck yeah. All right, next week. When next week?
It's on Fridays when I'm gonna go to the Redwoods, but I really want to do my Tree House Club like Tuesday or maybe Wednesday. So I don't know if that's bad to start it on the day that you're not really going to be doing.
No, my suggestion is go ahead and get your group up as soon as possible. And
Okay.
then then you can, start doing your lives.
Mhm.
You can go
Okay.
start the group and like get it up on, get your title.
Okay, so have the group ready to go.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have the group ready to, like, I'm gonna post our invites or whatever on by Tuesday of next week.
Beautiful. Awesome. Heidi, what about you? By when?
Okay, yeah, tomorrow, Chris.
Yes. All right, girl.
I think I
Love
mentioned that, but yeah, tomorrow. Finally.
Yay. Tara.
I'm gonna go with Tuesday next week as well, the 30th, because I have a bunch of deadlines for Friday and Saturday this week, so.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Awesome. Lori.
I'm gonna do by Monday. I do have a business page
Mhm.
set up already and actually a business Instagram. I've just never done anything with them.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get my group, and I do have a LinkedIn group. So
Okay.
I'm gonna do something similar on Facebook.
Great. Awesome. Who else?
Monday.
Leslie, did you have your hand up? Yes. By when, Leslie? Did you, oh wait, yes, you didn't do it. You did your personal profile.
Did I've honestly, so just to be honest here,
Oh,
I
wait.
actually created a Facebook group like a long time ago. I just have never invited anybody until today.
You invited
So,
me
'cause-
today.
Huh?
Yes, because I joined your.
I know, because you wanted us to invite people, and I'm like, well, I better invite Chris so she can see I invited people.
Sorry.
So
Well done.
yeah, so that Band-Aid is
It's
slowly-
gone.
it's going. So, and I mean, I've had all these ideas in my head, and I'm going to do like my Wednesday, I'm going to do lives on Wednesday, and it's going to be on Wednesdays She Wears Pink. So
Ooh, love it. Love it. Yes. Beautiful. Well done. Who else needs to get a Facebook group up? Kate and Robin and Marnie.
I've got the business page, but the group page will be up and running by this weekend.
Awesome. Robin.
I finally updated my profile. But I will have the Facebook group page set up by Monday. My
Awesome.
intention. Yeah.
Ardith, do you have a group? You have a group. Okay. Did we get everybody? Marnie, by when?
Let's see, I'll say by Friday next week,
Awesome.
26th.
Beautiful. Mary, how are you? Are you here with us?
Yes, I'm here with you. This is my first experience. It's very interesting.
Beautiful. Welcome.
I don't know much about digital, which I would like to incorporate into a business that I've been in for 40 years. So I am in my 70s and I just feel threatened. No, not really threatened.
Terrified. Yeah.
I feel really, I don't know, but it's got to be done. So I have a bunch of ideas that I've gotten today. This is my first time on.
Great.
And I just need to have a better mindset about it.
Gotcha. Is it that you don't know how to do a Facebook group? Is that the
Yes,
sticking point? Okay.
I know enough to be dangerous.
Be dangerous. It's okay to take risks and let it be messy. Let me just say that. It's really okay. As a matter of fact, I would rather you take action and let it be messy than make sure that it's perfect.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
great advice. Thanks.
The more decision, here's the thing, when we take a look at who are successful entrepreneurs, whether, doesn't matter what stage of their business, or successful company owners, one thing that we see over and over and over and over again, it's not that they make more right decisions, they make more decisions in general. They make quicker decisions. They make a decision and take action and they get feedback, and they make another decision and they take action and they get feedback. The more decisions you make, the more momentum you're going to create, because you're going to have information that's going to tell you how to respond. So don't worry about making the wrong decision. You don't know whether it's the right decision until you actually make the decision and take the action.
Mhm.
And instead, what ends up happening is we play in this, dangerous place up here in our mind, thinking, but if I do this, what will this happen? And this happen, and this happen, and the other thing. And we've created future problems that don't even exist. And we don't even know if that's real because we haven't even taken the action yet. So we're just kind of making stories up. Let's choose a better feeling story. If you're going to choose a story, let's choose one that everybody's going to love this. It's going to be so amazing. Choose that one.
Yes. Well, I think a lot of my clientele aren't digitally adept either.
Okay.
And with COVID, it really hit us hard.
Mhm.
It hit me hard. And so now don't want any excuses. I just want to move forward.
Yes.
And,
And I want to say too that just because this is new doesn't necessarily mean it's hard. It's just different. I know my husband's 90-year-old grandfather. He's on Facebook and he's on his iPad and he likes pictures of photos all the time, and he figured it out. So you can figure it out. It's just it's just different. It's not hard. It's just different. You just need someone to kind of walk you through. Push this button and it'll take you here, and push this button and it'll take you here and go here, and that's how you go live and all of that.
yeah, I can do step by step. I just need instruction, I guess.
Yeah,
Or figure it out myself,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much.
You're welcome. Cool. Okay, so once you have your weekly recipe where you have, the number of posts that you want to make, the, live that you're going to do, another possibility that you can add if you feel comfortable, if you already have a group up, is you could do something like giving away a freebie once a week. I do like freebie Fridays where I'll share something that I know is going to be valuable. And again, you put that on repeat as well. You don't need to have 52 different freebies for, one every week of the year. You can repurpose those because you've got new people coming into your group all the time. Okay, so that's just another way to give value, is to have a free handout, have something that is going to be something that your ideal client wants, like your top tips too. Like Kim, what is one of yours?
What do you mean top tips? What are you talking about?
So freebie, like you said, you've got.
Oh, I only, you know what? That's one of the things I am missing. I have only one freebie, and it no longer matches my niche because
Okay.
I've recently niched down. So I have to work on my freebies. I've gone from basically it was strengthening immunity during COVID, without saying that.
Mhm.
And now we are niched down to type 2s. So I need to work on that. So I
Okay.
used to ask the question in Friday in my group as to what they were going to do over the weekend, because I wanted them to encourage them to get out and do something
Mhm.
instead of sit at home or whatever. So we really tried to get conversations started by
Mhm.
figuring out what they were going to do over the weekend.
Awesome.
It's just
Okay,
what I
great.
did on Fridays.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be on Friday. It could be anything. For me, freebie Fridays just kind of work. And again, whatever freebie you give, just think about something that is going to be of value. For example, one of my clients created a recipes to boost your fat burning furnace. So that was her freebie. So it was like 5 different recipes. She also has a list of, vitamins that help increase your metabolism or something. She's a nutritional therapy practitioner. So she's
Yeah.
got that in her background.
Yeah, I'm in the process of launching In the Kitchen with Coach Kim. And I think we'll probably do that on Fridays, and then we can offer because as someone said, people don't know how to cook. And with type 2s, I'm trying to get them really out of processed foods and prepared foods. And so we're going to pull out all the appliances out that people have, and the crock pots and the pressure cookers and all of that. And we'll offer that kind of recipe as the freebie maybe, or at least that video. So it'll force me to go online, which is my other big missing piece.
Yeah, that would be a great, that would be your great weekly where you just show up and, share a recipe and then, give them the recipe on.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going.
I love it. Awesome. So again, your nurture recipe is something that you're going to put on, repeat. Awesome. We just get to repeat it every single week. But you're going to pick a different category or a different theme every week. And it doesn't have to be, again, 52 different themes. Think of 5 and then you repeat them. You just keep repeating the same themes. That's it. Simple, simple, simple. Simple and repetition. And then once you have your Facebook group and you have an audience, then you can start looking at, do you want to do a challenge, or do you want to do a nurture event once a month or once a quarter or something like that. And your nurture event is going to be, again, something that you guys are taking part in here, where you're giving value. And it is also leading into what would be the natural next step that would continue to help your ideal client grow from that nurture event. So, for example, I wouldn't be inviting you into a cooking class from this nurture event, because that's not why you're here. That's not what you want to learn, right? So you want to have whatever it is that you're offering be, in alignment and congruent with what it is that you're teaching. So for example, if you had a 6-week program where you were helping, like Valerie, you're going to open enrollment for your 6-week program. Valerie could teach, 3 days of, part of her framework, and then open up enrollment into her 6-week program. And you could do that once a quarter. Or if you want to do something specific, you could do, a mini training or something once a month. It totally is up to you. Bye, Tara. I think she left already. Yeah. Ardith.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. So I'm more of a life coach, so I hope I'm in the right spot here.
Yes.
I'm sharing more in my, yeah, okay.
So is Kate. Yeah.
Okay, great. So I'm more about sharing tips in, like, say, like a video form of, say, like mindfulness or journaling tips, and I'll literally guide my audience through what it is that's going to help them to calm down their nervous system, for example. So that's the sort of way I've been going about freebies. Is that like another way, or would you recommend that I sit down and put together, say, like a freebie on a Canva flyer and then send that out through, like, I don't know, can you even send that out through Messenger? Like, would you recommend, like, or would I like post that in the comment section of a post, for example?
That's a good question. So
okay.
Again, it depends on where you are in your business and how comfortable you are with technology. So, in the beginning, if you're not comfortable with technology and you don't know how to make an opt-in page or a landing page, then you could absolutely just share it in the comments, or you could share it in the guides. You can add a file inside your Facebook group. And you could say, hey, who wants my, my meditation, my top 5 meditation techniques to, lower the stress response. Do that post on your Facebook page, your personal page profile, and then say, oh, great, it's inside my Facebook group. Would you like the link to my Facebook group? And I can just tag you where to find it. So that's one way that you can do it, and you can also use that as tagging people inside the video. But I think people do like to get downloads. Like, it feels valuable to get something that is in writing that they can refer to. So while yes, videos are amazing, the other thing that you can do is you can transcribe your video, or one of the things I call it show notes. So for example, I could do my Facebook Live and then just say, and these are the 10 things that we talked about today. So it's like the show notes for your Facebook Live. You can also, I haven't tried this, but one of my clients does this. You can replay your video, I think on Google Docs, and it will like actually transcribe the whole video, like some sort of text editing. Honestly, that's not in my wheelhouse, but she does that.
Cool.
So there's a way that you can take your live videos and it will transcribe them for you. So
there's a software program called Teamy, Time, I believe, that actually does that process.
Awesome.
think OneStream might do that as well.
Yeah. So again, it's totally up to you if that's what you want to do. There's multiple ways that you can serve
Right.
your clients. Multiple.
Right. Okay.
The key is to focus on one and to repeat it. So one live, and then if you want to add a freebie, great, awesome, do that. Your freebie could be a meditation every week if you want to do that too.
Okay. Great.
Right? Mhm.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. Lori, you have your hand up. Oh,
Yeah,
did
I do. Do you use hashtags? I know on LinkedIn, we use those a lot. Is that something that you use in Facebook as well?
You can use those in Facebook. I don't, so you don't have to. Again, we
Okay.
keep it simple. If you're used to using hashtags and you like using hashtags, absolutely, you can use hashtags.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Start there. I wouldn't
They
start there.
work, 'cause,
That's,
I mean,
yeah.
I do follow some hashtags.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't start there. I would say, let's get these other pieces, dialed in first. Get your nurture recipe going first, where you're actually showing up live and creating content that your ideal client resonates with. And then if you want to add on these other pieces, then you could totally do that. Some people love hashtags and use them. Honestly, I don't worry about it, and it hasn't affected my business. So I pick and choose what to focus on. Yeah. Awesome. Any other questions? Holy cow, it's been an hour already? Oh my gosh, I swear it feels like 20 minutes. Okay, so who feels confident to set up just a nurture recipe with maybe one live? Okay, good. Robin, Amy, Leslie, Kate, Heidi, Kim. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So that would be my homework for you, is just decide, what does your weekly nurture recipe look like? And then just get that on repeat. Don't worry about doing a nurture event yet. That is something that if you want to learn how to do a nurture event, I'm happy to teach you inside the Activate Abundance program. That is actually something that we go in depth with, and we spend some time on, putting the pieces together on doing that. But eventually you are going to want to, run an event that is going to invite people in to work with you. But first you want to build your audience. So, and that's the attract piece, right? So attract, nurture, invite. So the attraction is calling in the right people into your Facebook group. The nurture is having your nurture recipe and or running a nurture event so that you can then invite people to work with you. You don't have to run a nurture event in order to invite people to work with you. You can, of course, comment on people's posts, and you could send them a personal message and say, hey, I saw you had a question about this XYZ thing. Would you like, I'd be happy to support you. Would you like to hop on a quick call? Absolutely, you can do that too. And I personally like teaching, and I really enjoy sharing value and information. And that is just a much easier way to show up and serve and give lots of value, and then open the door to inviting people to take the next step. Yeah. So what are everybody's ahas? What is a takeaway that you guys want to take away with you from today? Leslie.
So, what I think my aha is that, like, the simplicity of it. So whatever I'm going to create around my Facebook Live, like, I think I'm going to concentrate on that content and then extrapolate out comments from that. So just to kind of, so like I said, I want to do like the live on a Wednesday. So I'm like, well, then technically my work week starts on a Wednesday, because I wouldn't start probably posting comments or the relevant content post like on the Monday before the live. I definitely would want to do the live, and then maybe on Thursday, and then anyway, that's what I think. I mean, and I think just start like simple and small and just see what kind of comes.
Absolutely. Again, the most important thing is that you start someplace that you can be consistent. Like, we wouldn't start with saying, I'm going to go live every single day on my Facebook group. You wouldn't stay consistent with that. And if, going once a week live is too much, then go twice a month. but choose something and tell your community when you're going to show up and show up. Like that's really what we want to do. Unless you're sick, of course, then you're like, hey, sorry guys, this week is postponed to next week. People get it. But you want to show up consistently. Amy.
I guess for me is just make the jump and just do it and don't worry about it being messy or any of those things. That was my takeaway from tonight, was just like, here it is, you know?
Yeah. Let it be
Not
messy.
like a no-bake cookie. It's messy and it's done, and just do it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just do it. Just do it. And you know, the cool thing is that you're going to get feedback and you're going to tweak and you're going to evolve and you're going to, you know, it's going to grow. But nobody expects anybody to do it perfectly. Not even the people that are in, you know, they're probably in awe that you're even going live inside your Facebook group, really. I mean, think about, you know, the coaching industry. We're used to seeing people go live, but, you know, not everybody is used to seeing people go live. Yeah. Yeah, and start with 5 minutes. Simple. Keep it simple. Valerie.
I'd say for me, Chris, the inviting that, you know, send them a little, you know, DM them and then have the link to the group. I've got my personal page and then my business page. I have quite a few on my business page, so I'll pick out the ladies and just invite them.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I mean, either they will or they won't.
Yeah, absolutely. And my suggestion, whenever you invite anybody into your group, always ask them if they would like the link. Don't just drop the link in the message. Just ask them first if they would like the link. Like, hey, Valerie, I've got a group that I think, you know, you'd really love to participate in. You know, it's for health and wellness coaches. And, you know, I'd love to have you be there. Would you like the link to join? Would you like to join me? And, you know, I'll be happy to grab the link, but ask them first instead of, because we all know, we all get the DMs and the spammy DMs, you know, with join my Facebook group, join my Facebook group, join my Facebook group, right? Nobody ever asked if you're really even interested. And I get asked, you know, I get those messages all the time, and the groups that they're inviting me to are not for me. I'm not their ideal client. So, you know, always ask. That's just, you know, one of the biggest tips is that we just get to be a real person and just ask, hey, I think that you'd really enjoy being here. I'd love to have you in here as my guest. Would you like the link to join? Yeah. Robin, what's your takeaway from tonight?
My takeaway from tonight was really a message about consistency. And I also love, like, it doesn't have to be perfect, because that's where I can really trap myself. But being consistent and visible. So if it means I record it first until I start feeling confident enough to post live, but just to have my nurtured recipe, and which includes creating the Facebook group, but just to be visible and consistent.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it a little bit less scary. Just to moving in the right direction.
I love it. Absolutely. Cool. What about Kate? You're the next on my Zoom screen. What's the takeaway for you?
So my aha was just the simplicity of the pick 5 categories, keep them consistent. And that was just very focused for me. And obviously if those get stale to me, I get to change them up and then recycle them again. So because that is a little bit overwhelming, creating the content, but 5, and then knowing that I'm speaking to my ideal audience also helps, you know, really hone it in. So those were really clarifying moments for me, but I took quite a bit of notes, just lots of ahas across the board, but those 2 really spoke.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm so glad. Yeah. It is overwhelming when we think we've got to create content.
Yes.
And yet when we can just take a look at, oh, well, these are the things I talk about: mindset, I talk about movement, I talk about meditation, I talk about whatever. Like, you can have specific categories that you talk about, and then you can just do a live on that, and then the rest of your content is around that same theme. Just makes it so much easier. We just get to let it be easy. We overcomplicate this piece, and we just get to let it be easy. Hardith, what about you? What is the takeaway for you today?
Okay, so I like how you mentioned the freebie idea, because I feel like that's challenging me more. I've got a weekly e-newsletter that I send out every Monday. And so I think what I can do is I can take aspects of that newsletter and then create freebies from that I could share, like, I don't know, every Friday or something. And just because I'm encouraging mom business owners to be more daring through the power of creativity. So I'm walking.
You're walking it.
I'm
You're
walking it.
great. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kim, what about you? What's the takeaway for you today?
That I have to get back to my consistency. I had a computer hit with lightning, and had the whole thing. And I was very consistent with posting 3 days a week. And as soon as I had to rebuild everything on that computer, it was like, bye-bye. So I haven't been nurturing my group very well. And my consistency is definitely off. My content plan last year was 12 themes, one for a whole month. And every coach I have had in the last 2 weeks said, break it up more. So I guess I'm going to 24 or something to figure out, to break that content down a little bit into, instead of 90-day or instead of 12 themes, 90-day kinds of rotational themes. So I'll work on that part. But consistency is really important. I have to get back to consistency. Am I frozen or is Chris frozen?
I think she's frozen.
Yeah, I think she's frozen.
You're not frozen. Yeah.
Okay, good, because I was beginning to wonder. You guys were all like looking like, so I think she wasn't frozen. But yeah, it was.
She's paying rapt attention.
Yeah. We can't hear you. You're muted.
I'm like, I got kicked out of my own Zoom room. Everybody's frozen. Oh no, am I still here?
Yes, you're there now. Yes. I don't know what you heard, but my whole big takeaway is maybe dial it down and get consistent again.
God, awesome. Beautiful, beautiful. I did hear that. Cool. Lori, what about you? What's your takeaway?
My middle name is Complexity, so I like the simplicity of it. And like Amy, just rip the Band-Aid and start doing it. That's all. That's it. This is great. It's so easy. It looks so easy, and I can tailor it to what I'm comfortable doing. So it's
Absolutely.
great.
Absolutely. Marnie, what about you?
Gosh, there was so much. I think simplicity, because I also like to complicate things, but really going back to the content, repurposing the content. And I love the fact when you said 60 days, after 60 days, nobody remembers. So I think that, and just knowing that you have those 4 to 5 topics you said that you can just keep going over and just evolving them and coming back to checking to see what really was something that had a lot of views, a lot of interest, and just keep going back to those things. And yeah, it was great.
Beautiful. The repetition is what is going to allow you to be known as the leader in your field. It's going to be what you're known for. You're going to get bored before your clients do. Let me just say that. You will, I promise. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Yes. And repetition builds belief, right? We don't want to change it up all the time because then they don't know what you're talking about. Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Heidi, what about you? You're welcome, Robin.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is actually like, because content kind of scares me, like to have to come up with so many different things, I feel like, so that hearing that you could pick one topic, for the week and then just consistently cover that same area sounds better to me. Because I was thinking I was going to be doing different things every day.
Right. No. Yeah. I mean, there are people that are like Monday something and Tuesday this and Wednesday this and Thursday this. And honestly, that's too much for me. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to do, let's like keep it simple. So can we keep it simple? So that you can show up and be consistent. Yeah. Awesome. I think we got everybody. Yes. Awesome. All right, ladies. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your takeaways. And I am actually going to be live in the group tomorrow with Sherry Berry. She is actually one of my clients who not only went through the Launch Well program with me, like Valerie knows, she went through Activate. She's part of my mastermind. She became one of my coaches. She's just going to share a little bit about how it's kind of benefited her in getting some of these foundational pieces down. So if you want to hear what Sherry has to say, feel free to join us at 12. Otherwise, we have 4 spots left in Activate Abundance, just 4. So if this is something that you want to do, or if you want to hop on a call and you want to ask me more about it and see if this is the right fit for you, absolutely let me know. I'm happy to support you in that way. Awesome.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for being here, Mary. Bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.